Welcome to the Lake Area High School Basketball Coaches Show, and we'll get up to date on what's going on with the Eldon Mustangs today. We'll talk with head coach Cory Casey. You get to see this show every weekday on Lake TV at 9, 4, and 10. Thanks to our wonderful sponsors, COMC, Central Ozarks Medical Center, the O'Sullivan Bruce Group, part of RE/MAX Lake of the Ozarks, and Slumberland Furniture, Slumberland at the Lake. More on the Eldon Mustangs right after this. And on the Lake Area High School Basketball Coaches Show this week, we get familiarized again with the Eldon Mustangs. Head coach Cory Casey with us again. Coach, thanks for taking the time. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
So busy. I mean, when you're a coach and you're in season, you stay busy all the time, right?
Yes, sir. I mean, every day is something new.
Yeah.
If it's not a game, it's preparing for one.
And you teach too. It's not just the games, but
yes, sir. I'm a PE teacher, so I have classes all day long.
All right. So you have to stay in pretty good shape, huh?
Well, you try to.
Yeah, I hear the horsey throat there too. So you've been yelling at the players a lot lately, or where does that come
I'm a
from?
passionate guy, and so I can't help it. I'm a pastor as well, and so I have a preacher's voice, and I get loud and passionate, and it gets hoarse sometimes.
Well, and I've noticed because we've carried several of your games on Lake TV that it's not just the varsity team. I mean, you're there for the JV game, and you're kind of around all the time.
Oh yes, so I mean, we try to stay as involved as we can, and you know, it's not just the varsity boys we're trying to develop and coach along. It's the younger guys too, and hopefully they'll grow up into that varsity spot. So we're just as much into their development as we are the older guys.
Absolutely, it's a big week at Eldon because it is the 90th annual Eldon basketball tournament, right?
Yes,
that you guys are hosting. You bring in some great teams from all over the area. I know Versailles and Osage will be here along with several others. Anytime you do something for 90 years, it's pretty special, right? So this is quite a tradition.
Yes, it is. You know, I'm new to the tradition, but I know that it's, 90 years is a long time, and they've had a lot of teams coming in and out of here over the years, and a lot of memories. My father-in-law goes way back with it, so I hear some stories, 30, 40 years back with the tournament.
Right. We were talking with another school official just a minute ago about how it got started, and Eldon used to be like the main place. This was the big facility in the area, which is probably why the tournament started here and people kept coming in here, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's what I hear. It used to be the central location around central Missouri, and a lot of major teams would come in here.
Yep, okay. So we've had to deal with COVID this year. We've had to do a couple of your games where, I mean, you barely had enough varsity players to play the games. It's been a tough year as far as COVID goes for you guys.
Well, it has, and it's affected not just us, but, several teams. There's been teams that have had to cancel on us and reschedule, and we've had to do the same. And there's been some teams that have been down a player or two, and when we played them, and then we've been down a player or two or three, four, when we played other teams at times. But it's one of those things where you just battle through, and you go day by day, and you play with the players that you have, and just continue to develop and get better.
Absolutely, and you guys are, because like I say, we've done several of the Mustangs games, and you guys get better every time out, and sometimes it just depends upon the team too. You get a juggernaut team that comes in here, you can play well and still not beat them. And we were talking about this after one of the games. If you would have played like that against another team, you probably would have beat them by 20.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and they're last week we played two really close games.
Yeah.
We were in them, had a shot to win both of them, and just didn't close it out at the end. And then we get, Fulton the other night, and is a really talented team.
Yeah.
We played very well against them. Probably one of the better games that we've executed all year. But they're so talented that we were outmanned. But it's good to see the boys improve and compete. We had a game last night that we didn't come out in the first half, and we got it put to us the first half. The second half we rallied back and actually ended up winning the second half as far as the score goes. But lost the game by about 14, but it's a growing experience for the boys. It's learning how to come out ready, fight for 4 quarters, being mentally strong and prepared, and we talk about fighting to the end, we talk about body language, and we talk about execution, and we're still working on being consistent with those three things.
Are you pleased as a coach with the progress of the team, how they're coming along?
Of course, yeah. Of course I am. We're so close. I mean, we're really close to turning it around and seeing some of those losses be W's. There's probably 5 games that we've lost with 5 points or less this year, and when we can start figuring out how to do the things at the end of the game to turn those around into wins, then some good things will happen, and the boys will start feeling a little bit of confidence and seeing the results of their hard work pay off.
And so much of any game, any sport, is confidence. A lot of times the only way you get confidence is to win. So, it can be kind of a tough circle. But once you get a couple of wins under your belt, that confidence starts rolling around. Team could get on a roll going down the stretch.
And we've talked about that. There's some games down the stretch that even the last several games that we've been playing since Christmas, we've competed. There's only one half since Christmas that I really was not pleased with the way that we were competing. And other than that, I've been very pleased with where we've been since we've gotten back from Christmas. And the boys can feel it too. And there's some games coming up that down the stretch that we've kind of marked as games that we can really start taking what we're learning right now and how we're learning to execute. If we can put all that together, we can pull off a real wins here near the end of the year going into districts.
Absolutely. We'll talk more about that. We're getting caught up on the Eldon Mustangs here on your Lake Area High School Basketball Coaches Show. More with Coach Casey right after this. What is COMC? A health center where everyone has access to high-quality, affordable medical, dental, and behavioral health care, regardless of insurance or ability to pay. Offering primary care, preventative, chronic, pediatrics, and OBGYN. COMC even offers comprehensive dental and same-day emergency care. A health center that focuses on every aspect of your health. Everything your family needs to stay healthy. At COMC, your health is our mission.
How to sell your house. First, take pictures, put them on Facebook, take off work to hold an open house and lead tours, call a lawyer, negotiate a contract, and pay your lawyer. Send the contract to a title company, schedule an appraisal, schedule an inspection, fill out a mountain of paperwork, sign a contract that you barely understand, and finally, you've closed. Well, unless you messed up one of the earlier steps, in which case, start the whole thing over.
Or you could just call us. That's probably what I would do. Me too.
The O'Sullivan Bruce Group. Selling the lake lifestyle.
The modern farmhouse look is here to stay, and we have it for less at Slumberland Furniture. Start out with neutrals. Use a beige or light gray sofa as your base to build on. Next, mix and match metals and wood. Try adding contrast by using light with dark. Finally, add home-style pillows and unique farmhouse accessories. Play around and have fun. Get your current look for less at Slumberland Furniture.
Talking Eldon Mustangs here on the Lake Area High School Basketball Coaches Show with Coach Cory Casey. So, Coach, you've been missing some of the players this year due to COVID and all that goes with that and stuff. Started to get people back. Who stepped up for you? Who are you really pleased with as far as coming along this year?
Well, I mean, several players. There's, of course, our seniors. Aiden Wells has been just a stalwart really this year. He really stepped up his game and worked really hard this summer. And I knew he was going to have a kind of a groundbreaking year this year. He played decent at times last year as a junior, but this year has been really, he's averaging almost 22 points a game and 10 rebounds a game and shooting close to 50% a game. And so, those are really, really solid stats. And he's leading us in a lot of ways. And mentally, he's really coming along in his leadership. We've got our other senior, PJ Bledsoe, who is just kind of the behind the scenes, go get it, kind of the dive for a loose ball, come up with the big plays, and just kind of in the background. But he's a hard worker, and he's always doing the things that not a lot of people see. But he's kind of one of those guys setting our screens for us, being in the right spots, and
you got to have those.
You got to have those. Our other senior that we have, Kyler Rush, this is his first year to play on the varsity level, and he's coming along. He provides some good minutes, and there's times when you can tell that he hasn't had the experience that the others have had. Right. And as far as younger guys, we've got a slew of young guys. We play 2 freshmen and 3 sophomores 3/4 of the game. And so One of them starts for us, our freshman, and two sophomores start for us. So, they're getting a 75-80% of the playing time out there, and they're really coming along. I don't think some of them expected to play so much at the beginning of the year, but as the years come, they've progressed, and it's just kind of fallen that way. And so my thing with them is I don't want them to get too overwhelmed and to understand it's a growing process. So in the years to come, next year they'll be very experienced.
Yeah.
But they're taking their lumps a little bit, but they're learning through them, and they have some very positive moments out there and some feel-good moments, as well as some moments where, like I said, they're taking their hits a little bit. But as long as we can keep their heads up and keep them understanding that it's a growing process, we're not down on them at all. We see the reality of where we're at and where we're wanting to go, and they're a big fit to becoming who we want to become.
Yeah, future's bright because you do have so many young players.
I believe so.
Yeah, that's good to know as a coach that
Yes.
you got that coming up here in the years. How's the district looking as far as for postseason play? I think you got Versailles, Osage, Buffalo, Warsaw in the district.
We feel really excited about getting into the district this year, and of course with their schedule, there's some games coming down the stretch that if we're peaking at the right time, which I'm praying we are, and I think we're headed that direction. The boys are, I think, headed that direction. We can reel off a consecutive string of wins. That's our goal going into districts, which would give us the momentum. And we feel good about the teams in the district and who we would get to compete. So we're excited about the opportunity to get some wins in district, and we think we can win the whole thing. The boys do, and I believe that as well. So.
Absolutely, you almost have to, right? As
Oh,
a
yeah.
coach, you got to have that belief. So as you come down the stretch, what is the schedule looking like to try and put those wins together?
Well, of course, the Eldon tournament next week. There's some solid teams in the tournament. And then after the tournament, we have Dixon, and then we have some conference games. We have California and Versailles and Osage, and then also we're going to South Callaway and playing them again. So, those are the games that are coming up, and we feel like if we're right on key, we can be in every one of those games. It just depends on how we execute
And learn how to win
in
at the
those
end,
games
right?
at the end, if we'll come out on top or not. But we feel like we can be in every one of those.
All right. So I got some fun questions, as we always do for you. All right. You
All
ready
right,
for
you
these?
shoot. Let's
All
go.
right. Who's your biggest real life hero?
Real life hero. Well, number one, that's a no-brainer. That's my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, would be number one for sure. And number two would be my father.
Yeah.
My father has provided just ample amount of wisdom over the years and knowledge, and seeing him not just talk the talk but walk the walk has been something that has really been a staple in my life. And those would be the top two. I mean,
Absolutely. Those are some pretty good
Those are
ones
some
right
good
there. Any favorite superheroes from the cartoons or anything like that?
to be honest, I'm not a big superhero
No?
guy.
You didn't want to be Superman or Batman?
When I was a kid, but I'm kind of not into
It'd
that
kind of
so
be fun
much
to
anymore.
fly or something, right? Well, speaking of that, if you could have a superpower, is there anything you'd like to do? You want to be invisible or you want to fly?
Sometimes it would be nice to be invisible. Yes, it would be.
As a coach,
It would be nice to be invisible. I think when I was younger, I would have loved to fly.
Yeah.
As I'm older, maybe not so much, but maybe to get places without having to
It would take-
move.
it would
if I
take
could
more
get
to get
somewhere
me off
without
the
having to
ground.
move, just snap my fingers and be somewhere, that would be the
I'd like to be able to turn invisible when the wife wants us to do the
Yes.
honeydews or
Yes.
something like that. Did you have a favorite cartoon when you were growing
I
up?
was a Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner, and I was one of those guys.
Those were pretty good.
Oh, those were good.
Right, yeah, absolutely. Most interesting place you've ever been?
Well, I would have to say my wife and I lived 4 years in the Middle East, and we lived in the country of Jordan, and so I saw a lot of really interesting places there. I've been to Petra many times, and that's
Wow.
one of the seven wonders of the world. Of course,
Yeah.
I've been to Cairo, Egypt, and to the Red Sea. We lived on the Red Sea for a while, and so I've seen the baptismal site of Jesus, and I've seen a lot of ancient biblical sites as well in that area. So without a doubt, that's the most interesting area I've ever been been in.
Wow. Well, that's pretty cool. If you've been to Petra, that's like the city carved into the rock.
Oh yes,
right?
that's it. The Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
You've seen
the
Indiana
same
Jones and
thing.
the Last Crusade. That's
Did you see
Petra.
Indiana Jones? While
I
you
didn't
were
see him there, but I saw a lot of T-shirts and a lot of billboards. Them trying to make money off that movie.
there? I bet you did. So he is Coach Cory Casey. We know him a lot better now, and the Eldon Mustangs, who we've had a whole lot of fun covering here on Lake TV, and they're getting better all the time. Thank you, Coach. We appreciate your time.
You bet. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, and thank you for watching Lake TV's High School Basketball Coaches Show.
It's what you expect from your Lake TV.